Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Why have I got the camera around the other way, I hear you ask? Why have you got the camera around the other way? If I get out of the way, I'll be able to show you, but I shall drop the camera down first because it's work time. So what am I up to then? I get out of the way and we should be able to see. What we have here is the shelf to go on the kitchen windowsill to put the Phalaenopsis on. Cut to size. Over here we have 3 legs, but I'm only going to fit 2 of them because I don't think it needs 3. This is strong enough wood. The weight of the Phalaenopsis is minimal. You know, it's not like we're talking about these cymbidiums and the Decas, you know, ripping my screws apart. This is just no stress on the legs on the grounds that the weight is evenly split between the pair of them and they are vertical. So the weight, it just goes down through the leg onto the windowsill and there is very little weight. The shelf's probably going to weigh more than the plants. So that's what I'm up to. I'm only going to fit 2 of the legs. As I said, the 3rd one is in case it starts to sag, in which case I'll take it down and fit the 3rd leg, but I don't plan on doing that today. We've got to fit these 2. Now I went into, rather than a do-it-yourself place, what have we got here? Scissors, no, pliers, that'll do it. Where the guy's cut it, he's left a little nodule. All that'll get in the way of the shelf going flat up against the leg going flat up against the shelf. It needs to be a good nice tight fit. That's good enough. Yes, I went into a timber merchant rather than a do-it-yourself place, and this is 7 by 1 prepared, so it ends up about 6 3/4 by about 3/4. It's softwood, but again, there's no need for superb strength or anything like that. The guy cut it for me. I took the measurements in, so he cut what he did was he measured this bit and got that bit out of the way, and then he cut the 1st leg and then the 2nd leg, leaving the 3rd one, which needed nearly 1 millimetre taken off. And he said, I can't do that with a saw, you'll have to lump it. I said, it's a shelf, it doesn't have to be that accurate. And then I went in to pay less than £15 for the timber and getting it cut to size. That's the difference when you go to a proper timber merchant. It doesn't cost you more, it costs you an awful lot less. So what we've got to do then is we've got to drill some holes in the main shelf so that we can screw the legs on. I reckon 3 should do it. So we shall get the big drill out. I thought rather than use the battery one, as this one's up here in the cupboard, not down in the shed, we'll use this one, because obviously this is mains powered, so it's not going to even hiccup going through this. All I've got to do is remember how to work it. I think it's an auto chuck. We need the right size drill, don't we? I've already got it out. We hope that's the right size. And there should be a lock. There it is. The idea is that you lock it so that you can do it up nice and tight. There we go. Right then, no marking. I know roughly where the holes need to go because I know the width of the wood underneath. So we'll just go down like that. Right, so that's one end done. Let's get these legs out of the way for a minute. I've still got to work out how I'm going to screw them on. We will find a way, I'm sure. Right, so that's that bit done. As I said, I'm only going to put 2 legs on. Now we've got to work out a way of, of not breaking our neck and kicking the drill on the floor. That's why I've got that drill. I had to buy a new drill because round the other house I had the drill on the table in the garden. As I walked past, I caught my foot in the cable and pulled the drill off onto the pavers, and it landed drill first and bent the chuck. Effectively ruined the drill. So we'll try not to do that again. Now I'm going to do this. Think. We move these in like this. We might be able to hold this upright. Sort of like, which is the good side, that's the good side. So that's the top. If I get that like that, and that's holding the shelf. Hopefully that's held reasonably well. And then we need some screws. Those long enough? Yeah. And I'm not going to get the electric screwdriver out. This is end grain, screwing into end grain into soft wood, so it should go pretty good. And the idea is we will put that there, like that. And I'm going to go in slightly from the end. Not too much. Are these screws going to go okay? So far so good. And then when I've actually done this, I have actually checked that it fits. I actually took it out there and put it in the gap to make sure it fits before I put the legs on. Yes, I'll clear the windowsill off, get all the plants off onto the counter, and then I shall come in here with one of my trays and get all the Phalaenopsis in here and take them out so that I've got all the plants in one place, and then I can work out what goes where. But it is starting to get too cold in here at night for Phalaenopsis. This is quite tight. If I'd got the electric screwdriver out, it would have ratcheted prior to getting these screws done up tight anyway. So I'd have had to get the hand screwdriver to get the last bit done up. That's coming nice and tight, good. Right, that seemed to work okay. other end. I don't know, I actually did these up tight. It wasn't really necessary. Never mind. Swing this round this way. Oh, come on. Mess me about. Got a bit of a saga going on outside the house at the moment. The guy next door has booked a Virgin engineer to come round to fit Virgin internet into the house because it isn't there. And obviously they're aware that I am a customer. If you remember the saga I had when I got the new fast broadband, Virgin wouldn't let me cancel my contract, so I'm still paying for a Virgin contract even though I don't use it, and I can't get out of that contract until March when I can cancel. So effectively, although I'm not using it, I am a Virgin customer. My cable's not live. So I've been paying something I couldn't use if I wanted to. They're a bunch of, well, not far off crooks, quite honestly. I might phone in and see if I can get a refund, because I might not be using the service, that's my business. But if I'm paying for the service should work, and it's not. It's not even connected, the cable's not live. So somebody's disconnected that at some point. And the only person I can imagine that can get at Virgin cables is a Virgin engineer. So that should be on record when that was done. And I should have a refund from that point. And because of the inconvenience they've caused me, I would hope they would let me cancel my contract early. Fat chance. This is wishful thinking. Oh, so I'm looking for the screwdriver that's in my back pocket. Right, let's get the nice side facing inwards. That's that one. That's the side I'm going to have to look at. It's the thing with wood. There was always a good side and a not so good side. I won't call it a bad side because it's far from it. This is quite nice timber. And I'd forgotten that timber yard existed. I really had. It's a smashing place. You go in, you get served with a smile. The people know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They know their goods inside out. And then you go out into the yard with your ticket and speak to another nice guy who takes you to the rack and shows you what there is. And then goes and gets a saw. I'm just going to go and get my saw, if I can show you this. No, I can't show you because mine's an old saw. With the modern saws, they've got a handle and then the saw blade comes out, gets narrower and the teeth are all along the bottom. That handle has got an angle and a straight bit. You don't need a set square anymore. The handle is exactly 45 degrees. So you can put the saw onto your piece of wood and use it to mark. And the other bit is exactly 45 degrees. I didn't know that. And the guy took great delight in telling me, so he must be coming across a lot of people that don't know that, because he finds it quite funny. Yeah, so I learnt something new about saws. Not that I hardly ever use them, but to say the only saw I've got won't cut wood like this. It's a rip saw. I bought the wrong one, so it was my mistake. I didn't really realise it till I tried to use it, but it hasn't got enough teeth per inch, and it would rip this type of wood to pieces. It would absolutely trash it. The joints would be all torn to shreds. The only thing it would really be good for is sawing up logs or something like that, rough timber. And I wasn't going to go and buy another saw to do this job, because it might not get used for anything else. I don't tend to saw up wood. It's not something I do very often. So finding somewhere that will do it for me, that's got all the, you know, the workbench, proper tools and everything, and knows what they're doing. I mean, that guy marked up these cuts and sawed them off incredibly quickly. I just held the end for him just to help out. Yeah, so I came home quite pleased that the shelf is ready to go, and we can get the phals out of here today. Job done. I mean, a lot of them aren't in bloom now anyway. A lot of those mini phals now have gone over. They've finished blooming, so we've got to feed those up, grow some new leaves. Most of them don't need a new root system because they've got perfectly good roots, except that one I did this week, which wasn't very good at all. But I've still got a couple more to repot, and some of my larger ones ought to have a repot really. I'll have to look into that because I suppose they can wait till the spring. They're not going to get that much water now, because they'll take longer to dry out, so they won't get watered as often. Yeah, job done. Takes longer getting the stuff out and putting it away than it does actually doing the job, but it's done. Pleased with that. As I say, it's a nice piece of timber. It's got a nice finish to it. It would look lovely if it was painted white and then glossed shiny white paint. It would look absolutely lovely, but I haven't got any undercoat or primer, and I haven't got any white gloss, so I'd have to go and buy it. And the cost of the paint would probably be twice the cost of the shelf. We'll have a natural wood shelf. So there we go. Smaller phals tucked underneath, bigger ones sat on top. Job done. Now all I've got to do is pack up and sort the plants out. I will cut this video off now. Obviously I've finished out here, and we'll rejoin it while I'm sorting the plants out. So I'm not going to film getting the plants out of here and all that sort of stuff and clearing the windowsill off, but we'll have a look at sorting the plants out in the kitchen. That won't be brilliant to video because I'm filming against the window, against the bright light, so but I can play with the software and brighten it up a bit artificially. The saga of the of our domain that I got shut out of. Guess who's found a software bug in their software for them because they didn't know they had it. Basically, their password validation software has got an error. Software can be used to check, is a number between this one and this one. You'll get like a yes it is or no it isn't response from that type of question in software. I'm putting it simply, yeah? And those numbers, you can make them variable by picking the number up from a stored area. So you put your validation numbers over here, and then over here you pull them in. So if you called this number A and this one B, over here in the validation you say, you know, is this number that this customer's just keyed in between A and B? Yeah, well, their software is asking the question and they haven't set up A and B. So it's got the substitution values, which are invalid password. So can't get past it. The lady at the other end tried it, she can't get past it either. So it's a software error, it's a coding error. It's not only bad software in a sensitive area that obviously hasn't been tested. Bunch of crooks. Sorry, bunch of kids probably. Actually, kids would get it right. But yes, whoever coded that wants a sack because it's poor code, poor quality and untested. It's not on. especially in an area. It comes into itself when you're trying to log in, or I got past that and got logged in okay with a temporary password that the lady gave me. It's a secret password. But when I came to change my password, you put in your current password, which was the secret one that I was given, and then you put in your new password and you confirm that password. Now the confirm box checks that it's the same as the previous box. Yeah? Well, it was the same, so that bit lit up green, but the bit before lit up red as an invalid password, not suitable, when in fact there was nothing wrong with it. So yeah, I found an error in their code for them. When the box went red as an invalid password, you can mouse over, if you understand what that is, you put your cursor over a point and you get a pop-up. Well, that's where I saw the code error. The pop-up had the error in it. Naughty people. Anyway, I shall break off now and start moving some plants around. All good fun, and that is going to leave space out here to spread things out a bit. That is also good, but I won't be doing that today. We'll just get the phals out for now. And tomorrow I'll probably be watering my pots. That's a good time to shuffle things around, so we shall see how we go. My trip to Burnham's on Sunday might be off. We have gales, and in places severe gales and heavy rain for Sunday. That's not good driving weather. It'll be a spur of the moment. I will get up planning to go. I'll have a last check on the weather. I'll look out the window and I'll make a decision. But I'm not, if the weather is atrocious, standing water all over the place, I won't enjoy the drive, therefore I won't enjoy the day. We shall see. I still want to go, but you know, it might not be practical. Right, I'll be back in a bit. Right, the moment of truth. Does it fit? Not only fits, it's nice and tight. That's good. We like that, and I'll keep it as far forward as it can go, right up to the edge. I'll keep things farther back from the window. So what we've got to do now is put stuff on the top shelf that won't go on the bottom shelf. We do that first and then see what's left. There may still be some room on the top shelf, but with a spike that long, that's got to go on the top shelf. And the idea is that the spikes can point forward, like that. So they're out of my way, I'm not going to knock them. So that's one. This is another one still in bloom with staked spikes. This one isn't going to be in bloom much longer, they are starting to fade now. But it's still in bloom at the moment, and we'll put this one miles away. Actually no, it can go next to that one. I was going to say, because the colours will be a bit clashy when they come out, but the colours haven't come out yet. There is a downside I can already see because of the silhouette. I'm not going to get the full benefit of these when they're in flower, except for when I'm out here cooking it at night, perhaps, when the light's on and the light isn't coming from behind at that point. So I'm just taking these out because the dishes are full of, well, not full of water, but they've got water in them because these have just recently been watered. They do drain into the trays. They're not standing in that water. The pots have got feet on them that lift them up. So they're not in the water. They're on it. Right, so we've got another biggie here. Put this one up here. Lovely blooms on that one. Really like those. About there, I think. That's 3 blooms facing forward and 1 facing backwards. That will work well. Right, so now I'm looking for biggies that are tall. Now we've got The one that's Tony's, that's the giant, that's been sat on the black pot to get it up high enough to not have the leaves against the windowsill. That can now go on the shelf because it can hang over. And the spike on that one, I'll have to keep my eye on it because it's heading towards the glass. And obviously as it grows I don't want it touching the glass. But that's a biggie. That can now hang down. That's good. Now ones with spikes that are standing up, we've still got this one. This is one of the 8. That one's been repotted. That's a pinky colour, so it can go with that pinky one. My little show mind coming out now. Colour blending across a display. The little Equestris hybrid, I do apologise. I've had 2 people tell me that it is an Equestris primary cross. 2 different people have given me 2, I'm going to call them suggestions, although both of them were emphatic that they're right. Well, they can't both be right, but they can both be wrong. So at the end of the day, I'm going to call it an Equestris hybrid because I did a Google search on the name and then went into Google Images, where you just get pages of images. And both of those primary crosses are variable to the point that they cross over each other. Not an exact match as far as I'm concerned. Right, now we've got all the little ones. And the only thing to do with these is make sure that they, if they've got a new leaf coming, that it's arranged in such a way that it grows towards the light. Otherwise, okay, let's see if I can find one. Here we go, there's one. That's got a new leaf on it, yes? The new leaf needs to point towards the light. If it points away from the light, it will grow upright and look silly because it's trying to go like that. Now, in its natural environment, the light would be coming from probably all round. So, just making sure that any new leaves point towards the light. We've got this little, we're going to have a look at these phals again. This has been repotted, but this is one of the 8, and it's the one with the terminal spike. The other 2 spikes have been cut off, there were 3. I've cut the spike, but I'm going to let these buds carry on. It's the one that's got the nice variegated leaves, but it is a terminal spike. In theory, it might produce a new growth from the base, but we shall see. We shall see. We've got room on the top. We've got room on the top for one more biggie. Hello. Whiny's awake. Well, he's not whining actually, that's just his letting me know he's up and about. So he'll be down in the kitchen in a minute, singing his songs. Now we've got a biggie here. It's a big plant, but it's not tall. And again, it's got a new leaf. The new leaf needs to point towards the light. So that can go like that. Yes, what can we do for you? You've got food, so you don't need feeding. Wow. Don't get in the way, cat. Right, these are still only just going to fit, you know. I've got too many. That's got a new leaf on it, so that can tuck around there. The latest leaf on that one is growing towards the light. And that leaves me 3 little ones. And it can go that way, and they will all fit. But, oh crikey, no, we've got 5 here, I forgot those 2. Right, well, we shall have to do a bit of squashing up then, won't we? So that one can turn a bit, which means that one can turn a bit. That can come along there a bit. That can go along there, and that makes room for another one in bloom. So we'll put that one there. There we go. Now we're going to be able to get all the rest on. These will squash up a bit. I've left quite a bit of space thinking there was stacks of room, but they'll always get in closer. And as you get them in closer, they make room for another one. So I've got 3 to get up there now. I think that one, because it leans over, if that one went there, now I've got plenty of room for these three. And the little one with the buds can come at the front. So that one's got a new leaf, so that's got to go there, and then this one can just sit at the front. So there we go, they're all there. It would be nice if all the plants were far enough forward that I could pull the blind down at night to, to trap the warmer air on the inside, but that's the best I can do. I'm pleased with that. For a couple of minutes work and very little outlay, that really didn't cost a lot at all, we've got all our Phalaenopsis indoors for the winter. There's one not here. The one that I bought at the show on Saturday, the Phalaenopsis Click from Burnham's, is on my workbench next to where I work. So I've got one right there by the door on the end of the table. Well, that's where it's staying for now. But when that one's finished blooming, we're going to have some fun finding somewhere for it to go in here. That has filled that shelf up pretty quick, hasn't it? We haven't got room to go up again, have another 2 legs and another shelf. We haven't got room for that. The whole idea was to allow for spikes going up and hanging over, and those without spikes can just go on the bottom shelf. That was the idea. And it will allow me to allow Phalaenopsis to arch and actually hang over, at which point they will be viewable, because the pots will be behind them, so they're not lit up from behind as such. So there we go, that's that job done. Pleased with that. See you next time.